Hey folks, and welcome to my newest series, DBD Grimoires. Dead by Daylight is a very violent and gory game on some level, so this is a content warning, because this video will include violence against all sorts of ignorant mortal scum. Please be advised. Anyway, this series will go over the different killers of the Dead by Daylight horror game. While there are two teams, survivors and killers, the survivors are also damn similar that there's no real reason to give each their own video. Maybe I'll make a general survivor video later. For now though, I'll discuss the first killer of the whole game, the Trapper. A few things before we truly start. First off, DBD is a horror game, as I said. However, as a killer, you are the reason for fear. There are all sorts of popular and obscure killers, from Michael Myers to Freddy Krueger to the Legion, and even Nemesis from Resident Evil. So there's a lot to cover here, even more so because DBD is complicated. At its core, it's a pretty simple game plan, but taking the ever-expanding mass of mechanics into consideration virtually doubles the amount of content I can squeeze out of this game. So strap in folks, and get ready for some explaining. Every map in DBD has a bunch of generators randomly scattered around. After 4 are activated, the exit door becomes available to open via a lever one survivor must hold down. Activating a generator, holding the lever, all require random skill checks to appear, which basically just means survivors have to click space at the right time. Repairing a generator is faster with more teammates working together, and you can have a maximum of 3 teammates to a generator. There are 4 survivors in a game, FYI. Failing a skill check, meaning pressing space at the wrong time, results in a small explosion that does no damage, but alerts the killer to what generator the survivors were trying to fix. Got all that? Let me summarize. Lots of machines, 4 machines fixed by pressing space a lot, and door can open. Open door by pressing space a lot. Win game by leaving through open door. Simple enough. Right, now for the killer's side. There's one player, killer, per game. Some killers can multiply themselves, but that's irrelevant right now. Along with the generators, there are meat hooks scattered around the map. This is the gory part. The goal of the killer is to beat up the survivors until they're lying down, dying. Then the killer can hang them from the meat hooks, where a timer will start. If the survivor isn't rescued before it runs out, that guy dies. It's a pretty long timer though. Killers must hit each survivor twice for them to go down. Hit once means they're wounded and bleeding, but not dead. Hit twice and you can grab them. You can also grab them from behind or from close, but that's also unnecessary right now. Summary: beat up survivors, put on hook, wait for them to die, rinse and repeat. Next, we have the other game mechanics. Cabinets. There are red cabinets everywhere. Survivors can hide in these. You can check them with a small animation, but that takes time you don't really have. Tracking survivors. When they run, survivors leave a trail of orange scratches like this. Following these will generally lead you to your prey, but sometimes it gets difficult and you lose the trail, which disappears after a time. Items. These are one-game things survivors can equip before a game. They include things like flashlights, which can be used to blind the killer, med packs to heal themselves from their wounded state or patch up another survivor. Perks. These are things everybody can equip that make them better in some way, though I'll only cover the killers. Things like faster moving when chasing a survivor, easier control when carrying a survivor, stronger traps for the trapper, and quicker barricade destruction. Speaking of barricades, those are called pallets. They're leaning against walls all over the place, and a survivor can slam them down behind them. You get hit, and you're stunned for a short time. A survivor can vault over them relatively quickly, while you have to destroy them to get past, buying the fleeing survivor precious time to get away, which you don't want. Aura of fear, or terror. Except for certain killers, whenever you're near a survivor, their heart beats. This is an excellent warning to them that you're approaching, and they need to run away. The closer you are, the faster their heart beats. For the Trapper, this means very little. Just be aware that with the Trapper, you can't sneak up on people very easily. Finally, sacrifices. These are the killer's version of items, a one-game upgrade that makes something good happen for you. From bonus blood points, yeah, that's the game's common currency, I know, very edgy, to more totems, those I don't really understand and haven't used yet, and even to choosing which map you want to end up on. Alright, I'm sure I've missed something. Tell me down in the comments. Please be nice. Anyway, on to the actual subject of this video, the Trapper. He's a huge guy with a terrifying weapon, a mishmash of clubs, blades, barbed wire, and death. That part doesn't matter because most killers' weapons function exactly the same way. The Trapper's unique ability is bear traps, hence the name. He can carry 2 and more spawn randomly all over the map. He can pick these up and use them, but for any of them to function, he has to set them first. Any he is carrying can be set wherever he wants. Survivors can damage or remove them, but this sets off a warning for the Trapper to see, so most often survivors just avoid any they see. Yes, the Trapper can step in his own traps, but they show up on screen, even through walls, so don't be that dumb. Smart survivors will try to lure you into your own traps. Don't fall for it. My favorite use for these is to trap the area around a hooked survivor, meaning any survivors that come to rescue them get hit, and boom. That's another one down for you, on top of the one already hooked. The Trapper can also grab survivors directly out of his traps, instead of hitting them. Hitting them just frees them in a wounded state. That's not as good for you. He can also just grab survivors out of an interaction they're in, like repairing a generator, vaulting out of a window, and even healing. Boom, that's another one down for you. So, gameplay. The Trapper is an easy first-time killer. Any new players should definitely use him, at least for a while. He's fun. His ability to shut down areas of importance, like the exit doors, meaning that suddenly no safe area, like a building or just a grass field, is actually safe. Survivors must constantly watch the ground, else they end up as helpless mice in a trap. It is very effective to try and chase your survivors into your trap, as most of their efforts will be spent dodging you and trying to find a place to escape, not watching where they step.
But it's too late. They forgot the first rule of survival. The real hunter always watches where he steps.
A wonderful use of bear traps is also to remove an escape. Obviously, survivors want to avoid you at all costs. Placing a trap in a doorway, or in a corridor between 2 rock walls, means that escape in that direction has become impossible for them. If you block the direction they came from, then that means in some cases you force them into a corner. Either run into the trap, or run into your arms, or rather, your blade. Finally, just be aware. A huge part of DBD is juking around, and survivors can be very toxic if they successfully stop you from hitting them, meaning they get around you. I mean, you are a hulking mass of muscly death, and they are tiny, insignificant worms. If you can't stomp them out, they get cocky. Annoying. Don't allow this. You have a ginormous swing area, meaning if you swing even in the general direction of a survivor close to you, chances are you hit them. They get a burst of speed and are wounded. Keep chasing, knock them down, and hang them up where they belong. Then it's time for a bit of toxicity of your own. Yeah, that does literally nothing, but it's satisfying. Anyway, that's about it. Thanks for watching, folks, and I hope you enjoyed. Have an excellent day.